Some say that perfection is the enemy of the good. They speak nonsense. We should never cease our striving for greatness. Anything else is nothing but stagnation. Hello everyone, this is your host Legend, and welcome back to my channel. This is the continuation of my Zero to Hero series, a series in which I started with nothing, and by the end, I will have built up one of the Guild Raid meta teams to Diamond 3 in Warhammer, 40k Tacticus. Before we dive in, this video will lean more on the informative side. I want to use this video to more clearly tell how I approach progression. I have touched on the subject a couple of times now, but I think it's only right if I give a full consensus of my thoughts in one dedicated part. So the first part of this video will be focusing on Saim-Hann Part 1, but the second part will be an overview on progression, priorities, and my thoughts. At the end of my last Zero to Hero video, I had unlocked Eldraon in the Saim-Hann campaign. So today, I take the first steps through this chapter of the Tacticus journey. Saim-Hann sees us using the Xenos faction of the Eldari. The campaign's main three characters are Athena, Eldraon, and Calandus. Their portraits, traits, and abilities are shown on the right. Of these three, our main carry is Eldraon. He has the best overall kit to support the other two, since it is unlikely you will unlock Malgan Ra or Jane Zar due to them being legendary characters. Hell, I don't even have them unlocked on my main account. Saim-Hann also doesn't allow any other faction to aid the Eldar in their fight, which means we are really forced to lean on all three of these characters. I want to take a moment and acknowledge that all four of the main campaigns have a storyline to them that I have tried my best not to show as not to spoil it. They aren't anything massive or overly lore defining, but can be intriguing to the right person. In my opinion, Saim-Hann has one of the best stories of the main four. Each character has a defined purpose, and from what I remember, by the end, each has shown real growth. Anyhow, in this campaign we are faced off against the Thousand Suns, a chaos faction with a huge focus on sorcery. In the beginning half of the campaign, they are aided by Black Legion guardsmen in some battles, but the main focus is on the Thousand Suns. In the first part of the campaign, we are introduced to three auxiliary units: Rubric Marines, Traitor Guardsmen, and Pink Horrors. Although this campaign has one of the widest amount of auxiliary units, those will be covered as they appear later on. On the right, you can see the portraits and traits that each of these units have. The main trait we must be mindful about is Weaver of Fates. The Let the Galaxy Burn trait that the Guardsmen have is potent, but it's not nearly as impactful to the overall campaign as Weaver of Fates is. Weaver of Fates is triggered. It will always do plus 20% or the max damage outlined in a unit's ability. If units are always doing the max damage possible, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize you are more likely to lose any engagement against similarly leveled units. Thus why Weaver of Fates is so dangerous. So when in battle, we prioritize targeting Pink Horrors, then Traitor Guardsmen, and finally Rubric Marines. Pink Horrors can trigger Weaver of Fate and deal psychic damage, making them quite potent, thus why they are our top priority. When targeting them, it is always best to use a unit who is more likely to overkill them, so that we prevent them from potentially splitting into Blue Horrors. Traitor Guardsmen are our second priority due to the Despoiled Ground Hex effect that they can apply, which causes any unit standing on this hex to take 6 to 9% of their initial health as direct damage. That's not the worst part though. The worst part is that this hex effect will also buff the damage of any chaos unit standing in it. The biggest thing to remember in this campaign is to spread your units out. If you spread out your characters, Weaver of Fates is less likely to trigger, and as we'll see in the later parts of the campaign, there are other units other than Pink Horrors that will benefit from your units being bunched up. Like usual, levels 1 through 14 are smooth and easy, showing off each auxiliary unit and what they are capable of, so we reach Toth, the first boss of the campaign, in no time. Toth is a Scarab Occult Terminator, an ranged unit. His kit allows him to tank damage for his allies and suppress enemies. His active ability is a ranged attack called Hellfire Missile Rack. It allows Toth to target any enemy in range 3 and deal one hit of 36 to 48 points of heavy round damage to them. Any enemy, including the initial target that has taken psychic damage, will also receive one hit of 36 to 48 points of heavy round damage, no matter how close or far they are to Toth. His passive ability is a healing passive called Time Flux. It allows Toth to regenerate 14 health at the start of his turn, plus any additional health equal to the damage of the last hit he endured, but he can't regenerate more than 72 points of health. This passive ability also has the secondary effect of leaving a time ghost wherever Toth has last moved from, as long as that hex remains accessible. The first time he dies in battle, and if the time ghost is still present, Toth revives to where the ghost was at 40 health. Toth is an absolute tank, and has real potential to stall this battle and let his auxiliary units overwhelm you. Well, at least if he didn't spawn in the very back, and move slower than his auxiliaries. Your best bet is to bait in his support and eliminate them before he gets close, especially the pink horrors if you don't want to power up Hellfire Missile Rack. Once the auxiliary units have been mostly, if not completely neutralized, have one unit disrupt Toth's Time Ghost. Once the ghost is handled, just pile on damage and you will eliminate him with ease. With that, levels 1 through 15 and part 1 of this campaign is complete, and we can move on to the more infographic side of this video. When asking any veteran player what your priorities should be in the early game, the answer is almost always campaign characters. This is so you can rapidly unlock the nodes needed to get components needed to upgrade all your characters, gain requisition scrolls, and other items needed for leveling up your characters, such as badges for their abilities. This is always a good focus, but useless if we don't stipulate further. For campaign characters, we focus on the main 3, and of those main 3, the carry of the group is the one that gets the most focus. This is characters such as Bellator, Aleph Null, Archmados, and Eldreon. They are the characters with the overall best kit and are more often than not summoners or have the highest damage potential. A good highlight of this system is components like the cloak. Typically you unlock the node that gives cloaks with Fall Acadia 37, Octaris 10, or Saim-Hann 23, but until then you are typically awarded some from clearing missions with 3 medals. With this limited supply, you should try to learn who needs them the most. In this case, I have 2 cloaks, and I have characters from the Adeptus Mechanicus and Eldari who need them. But we must remember our priorities. AdMechs are not campaign characters, and can wait until we have unlocked the node to receive their cloaks. This leaves us with our Eldar units, and remember, of these 3, Eldreon is our carry, so he gets the first cloak. Then it is a bit of preference who gets the second one. Typically this is best to be Athena because she's more reliable, but it doesn't hurt to also give it to Galandis. This isn't a hypothetical situation, and it plays out a lot in the early game, especially with rare items. As long as we remember the order of carry is greater than campaign, and campaign is greater than current non-essential characters, we get a good hierarchy of who gets what, and this system also goes well with badges, ascension orbs, books, and just about every resource in Tacticus. I do want to take a moment though to acknowledge that not everyone likes to min-max their game, and overall I want to give a very healthy approach to the game. This is a pure opinion piece, I understand that, but one of the best things I found to help me really enjoy the game was at times to play and level up characters I enjoy, whether they are meta or not. I have done this several times on my main account, but by far the most impactful one was Maladus Phlegmore. I think it is no secret that he is my favorite character in all of Tacticus, and my main account has reflected this well. He was one of the first characters I grinded and promoted to Legendary Rarity, then Blue 1 star, and was the first character I got to Diamond 3. And why did I do that? It wasn't because I knew he was amazing at horde modes, such as LREs, onslaughts, and what would eventually become survival, but because I simply liked the character, his kit, and the Death Guard as a whole. I have done something similar to this with other characters such as Celestine, Tarvak, and the Plague Burst Crawler. Never feel like you cannot upgrade a character because they are not impactful to the game as a whole. If you enjoy Tigoras, give him some priority. If you're tired of grinding meta characters, find someone you do enjoy and take a break from the grind. Play them, level them up, do what you want to do. This will no doubt boost the amount of time it takes to burn out from the game, or help to prevent that feeling altogether. I have played near daily for over 2 years now, and every time I had a bit of a low point, I tried to do something I knew I would enjoy, and it helped to alleviate that feeling. And I also want to say, never feel like you can't take a break from the game, even if it's just for a day or two. If your guild cannot understand the need to do something else other than grinding Tacticus, they don't deserve you. Always try to play and maintain yourself at the level you are comfortable playing at. Don't force yourself to play for a top tier guild if it is killing your love for the game. And vice versa, if your guild isn't doing enough, reach out and find another guild that may be what you're looking for. Guild clusters are great for finding a guild that is right for you, and there are many clusters for Tacticus. Off the top of my head, there's Eye of Terror, Pants of Horus, Phoenix Alliance. I will be the first to admit, I am very biased, but it is Pants of Horus I do recommend, since this cluster has many great options with different requirements to fit your playstyle, and this includes my home guild of Pants of Horus Deathwatch. A good guild and community goes a long way in this game. I will leave links in the description for some Discord servers that can prove helpful for all things progression in guilds. Just remember, this game has no shortage of people willing to help you out on your journey. Thanks for watching. This is your host Legend, signing off.